So, in this short video, we want to have a look at this text about Simon. I hope you read it a few times to fully understand it. And what we want to focus on is basically the structure of these different past tenses. As you see, I have highlighted them in 3 different colors: red, green, and blue. What we want to focus on here is we want to have a look at what do these individual past tenses do. They are called narrative tenses, and they are called narrative tenses because they are used to tell a story in the past. And what is very important before we start is that we should try to put these different tenses in a kind of relation, right, in a certain context, and don't just use a tense like the past continuous, for example, just by itself, but always in connection with the past simple. But I'll show you that in a minute. And the last remark before we start: I'm sure that you have heard of 2 of these 3 past tenses in your secondary education. And the third one, the past perfect, which is the blue one here, might be new, but it works the same way as in German, so that should not be much of a problem. Right, let's start. So I'll start with the red one. So that's the past simple, right? Let me highlight its function in this paragraph here, right? Where it says, Simon took a surfboard and paddled out into the bay. And then he just lay on his surfboard for a bit, thinking about life. He fell asleep. When he woke up and looked around, he got quite a shock, etc., etc. So what we have here is basically a story that consists of different steps. So we hear a story step by step. So what Simon did was, first of all, he took a surfboard, and then he paddled out into the bay, and then he just lay on his surfboard for a bit, thinking about life. He fell asleep, so that's the next step. When he woke up and looked around. So these are all individual steps in the whole story, right? So that should not be a problem. What is a bit more problematic is the green one here. It's called the past continuous. So just imagine, that's the story here. Simon went down to the beach at 6:30, right? So, and the green one here says, what was actually going on at that exact moment when he came to the beach? So the sun was rising in the sky and the waves were breaking on the shore. A few joggers were running up and down the beach, and some fishermen were just coming back from a night's fishing, right? So this is not like one past simple and then another one, right? Because these things here, they were all going on when Simon came to the beach. So it was not like Simon came to the beach and plop, the sun rose. No, the sun actually started rising before Simon came to the beach. And it was still on the rise, it was still in the process of rising when Simon came to the beach. So it's like a mental picture or something that you have at that moment when Simon came to the beach. And then we've got the third one, this probably new tense, the past perfect. And I want to highlight that quickly with 1 or 2 good examples. And you find good examples in this paragraph here, right? So he got quite a shock because he had drifted a long way from the beach. So in German, we would actually say something like, bekam einen Schock, weil ziemlich weit abgedriftet worden war. And another example is a bit further down. Then he realized that he had left it. So the mobile phone, right? So he realized that he had left it back in his room, right? So in German again, bemerkte, dass es in seinem Zimmer vergessen hatte. So as you see, it's the same thing as in German. Good. So that's just a quick overview of the three tenses. To summarize, the red one, like here in this paragraph, that's a good one. So this is one step and then another one and then another one and then another one. There we just use the past simple. We use the past continuous, like here, to actually say what was going on at that moment when Simon came to the beach. So what was in the process of going on, right? And the third one, it actually tells us that, like in this example, he realized that he had left it. So first he left it, and then he realized it. But we actually tell it from the other perspective. He realized that even earlier on, he had left it back in his room. Right. So I hope that became clearer. And in the next short video, I want to highlight that same thing with a few sentences taken from this text, right?